Hello, everyone, and welcome back to tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. My name is Alex Xander Rabitsky, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this game. You may just call me the Keeper. We are resuming our world-sprawling campaign through the world of the mythos after a lovely holiday hiatus, trademark. And we're excited to dive right back into it. I am joined, of course, as always, by my lovely friends here at Internet Remix. We have Split Guardian.
Been like a month since my sister's seen my face, and she screamed immediately after
Fuck
seeing
off! Don't be. Why are you calling me out like this in the first part of?
Because I got no other intro.
You're mean. You could have just used the harmonica.
Oh shit! I could have.
We have Atwis.
Hello, everyone. It's been far too long.
We have Upgraded Moon, also known as Jordan.
Ooh.
Okay,
Ooh.
I'm with it.
Ooh, I love that sound though.
Thank you.
We have the brother, Bro Dingles Dingleberry.
Hello, it is I. I don't have a musical instrument. All I did during the hiatus was make like 6 AUs, so...
Hey now. You say you don't have a musical instrument, but you have those chords right there.
Right there.
Before we go to Chris, and I just need to say something extremely cursed, because this has been a thing that's been happening to me repeatedly ever since, like, this is for years now, but I've never vocalized this. Every time, Split will frequently say, hey now. He does that a lot. And every time, I've never vocalized this, in my brain, I jump back to the Lizzie McGuire movie and go, this is what dreams are made of.
Hey now.
Anyway, last but not least, we have Kristen Trzynski.
Hi. You already heard that I'm here because my brother's bullying me on stream like an asshole.
So the usual.
You
should have.
She has a little ice pack on her arm, drinking her drink with both hands.
It's actually, hold on, it's not an ice pack, it's a heating pack.
It's a heating pack for my work.
It looks the same as my ice pack. So
I mean, listen, it is a heating pad and an ice pad.
let's say we have the same Walgreens ice pad, Kristen.
This
How am I supposed
cost
to
me
know?
like, I can't remember how much this cost me. It was more expensive than it really should be. But
Heating pad and ice pad?
I think it was like
That's a paradoxal pack right there.
Bro, we're living in fucking
2035.
So
modern day 2021, baby. Yeah.
2021.
So anyway, moving on. Tonight we're continuing our game. We're all very much starved for it, if you couldn't tell already. So, let's go ahead and dive right back into where we left off. Let me change the vibes for a second. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So,
Oh, that's neat.
actually, no, I think this is the one. Hold on, wait, let me try this one. Oh, no, okay, it was the other one. Sorry. All right, we're good. So, we're good. I was like, I forget which songs are which.
I'm just imagining the narrator in a movie setting a vibe and then going, wait.
Wait, hold on,
Wait,
hold on.
hold
Let me
on.
just-
Okay, no, I was right.
Yeah, okay.
Click on the radio and then click.
The man
back on.
switches records in the middle of the silent film.
So, when last we left the 1920s disaster gang,
It's canon.
it's canon, baby. When we last left the gang, they had traveled 30 minutes out of the city to go up to Westchester for two purposes. The first of which to visit Hilton Adams, the man who is wrongly incarcerated for the murders that have transpired around Harlem over the past few years. Spoke to him about his account of what happened with him. Learning not a terrible amount of things, but reaffirming a lot of the breadcrumbs they have already been following themselves thus far. After this meeting with Hilton Adams, they drove not far at all to the Carlisle mansion, where they met with Erica Carlisle, and through a, we won't say heated discussion, we'll call it a tense tea time. Tense tea time. Tense time, yes.
That's the name
It's
of my ska band.
okay. I'm glad I didn't do it first.
It's the first one I've done ever.
Yeah, I'm proud of you, buddy. Basically spoke with Erica about what they've been digging up thus far, about the possibility that Roger Carlisle and possibly the rest of the Carlisle expedition might not be dead. During this discussion, Erica did reveal a few key points of information, mainly that Roger had become obsessed with Egypt and embarking out to Africa. This was further enabled by a woman Roger had fallen in love with, someone he referred to as his African princess, a high priestess, a queen, a number of things. Erica Carlisle gave her a name, Nchanka Bunny, and said that basically she in Erica's mind, she's a grifter who definitely was just trying to make a buck off of Roger's money, and a number of other small details that were brought up, culminating in the group getting a look at the Carlisle family safe in the library, whereupon they got to read some mythos tomes. Specifically, they got to read through the Narcotic manuscripts, Life as a God, and a collection of poetry called Amongst the Stones. There was another book, but they did not read Archaic French, so they could not translate that one. So that's where we pick up on the night of Wednesday, January 21st, 1925. The gang gathered in the Carlisle family library under the watchful gaze of Erica's bodyguard, Joe Corey, and under, desk light with discarded trays of finger sandwiches, biscuits, and teacups. Everyone's been cloistered away reading and poring over these tomes. The heftiest of these undertakings was Sybil's reading of the Narcotic manuscripts, which she is just wrapping up now. She's been going over that book and kind of got the gist of it, with the help of others who came over and aided her. And yeah, I know
Actually, Sybil, I didn't canonically say that Sybil read that one, but I will happily say that she jumped in on that after, because she read the life.
Right, Mason read Narcotic manuscripts. Sybil jumped in on it, though. Yeah, she jumped in.
Don't get me wrong, Sybil will jump in as soon as she's done with the other thing. She wants to read everything. She's mad that she only has an after.
Yo, low key, same though.
Correct.
So we've read.
Kind of just
Yes.
interested by this point.
So yeah, because everyone else would have finished reading before Mason finished going through the Narcotic manuscripts, I think everyone kind of just jumped into the lump sum of reading, huddling over, reading over the shoulder.
I see. I took that sanity damage for no good reason. No, I'm joking.
No, you did. It's because you did the basically you did the majority of the legwork with Mason's help.
Yeah.
But we established, I gave you guys the PDF information for all of the books you read. This is for what your skim reads. And also revealed that the Narcotic manuscripts seem to have, at a cursory glance, 2 spells listed in them.
Sybil's just like.
So yeah, the 2 spells that are in the cursory glance of the Narcotic manuscripts are Contact Mind of the Observer and Contact Winged One. Yeah, Contact Winged One. That's correct.
No, so we've gone through this shit, right? Like we're like at the end of our revelations.
Yes.
Because at this point, someone's just like, I think these are spells.
Yes. The people who read the certain tomes have accrued the right amount of Cthulhu Mythos score increases. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Second highest. Boom, boom.
I got 8.
You said spells, Sybil.
Spells. Like magic. Like spells.
Yeah,
you know,
like-
like
Yes,
what we did
I
like what we did when we fought Lester, but here, not in dreams. Like here.
Yeah, it's specifically Sunil and Mason like pointing at the spell passages in the book. Like,
And then Sybil was like jumps across the fucking room. Did you say spells?
yeah, basically. It's roughly how it goes. I would imagine.
spells. Sybil.
So, any idea what they ostensibly do?
So I'll answer this just for the meta narrative here. So like again, the Narcotic manuscripts is hardcore Old English. So it's like it is dense to read through, and the description of these spells are very esoteric, very lengthy, doubly so just by the sheer amount of like different kind of spellings and vernacular that were used in this context. Basically break down that these are 2 spells that when channeled correctly can reach out through the ether and commune with these beings, either the winged ones that are mentioned throughout the books as being these the text is like I'm trying to just go off of I'm trying to go into too much detail because you only have a skim reading from this. From what like the text can only briefly refer to as these very old beings, very very ancient creatures. The observers are a little bit more less. Again, I'm having difficulty explaining from a skim glance, but the book refers to those entities as people or entities that are watching, but they don't necessarily. You're not contacting the entity directly. You're contacting their mind. It's like, again, it doesn't go into a lot of detail that you can really dive into at a skim reading. But these are 2 spells which reach out to these entities. Yeah, and it lists basically the various preparations. There's no like sacrifices or stuff involved. Like you have to kill a pig or anything. These are very much like there's chanting involved. There's like some ingredients for like drawing glyphs. It's a very mental based spell, but nothing in here is like super like. It's weird, and mechanically that means it does cost sanity points to cast these spells, but in addition to magic points, but they're not like horrifying. It's like you got to do some weird shit, but nothing too grotesque.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
This manuscript, I assume, is outlining all the various ideals of this. So with this, would there be any warning to performing these rites?
It's a good question. I'll say here's where you get at a skim reading, because you can't really go into a hardcore heavy duty reading. The closest thing you see to a warning with any of these things is like a warning that unless I'm not going to phrase this in the old text. I will just say this blunt and as it is. The only like real warning you would get from this is that the spell's not super effective if you don't have anything interesting to commune to these beings with, or if there are no beings within a proximity. It doesn't exactly dive into the specifics of that that you can tell just at a glance. But there's no like beware, but it's like very much like, hey, just don't, the spell.
Just don't waste your time.
There's like
So basically, you can't pop in to say hi, and you can't just like be like, oh, there's no one around to talk to, but I'm gonna try to commune to them anyway.
Basically, it's basically just like warning, like unless the proper steps are undertaken and you are in the right region, it does not specify how big of an area that is, then there's a chance that you won't successfully commune with these things. It does also specifically say that, I think in the description of these spells, these two beings are very hard to get into contact with as a basis. So they're
Does it say at all why someone would want to contact these specific beings?
Nothing that you can see at a skim reading beyond just the glean of knowledge. Commune with entities for knowledge. But
that doesn't listen. That don't matter. Listen. We basically have the phone number of a fucking winged one in mind of the observer. Will the phone number always work? No, but is it a phone number? Yes.
Y'all just want to summon Asmodeus, like
Sybil's just like.
I just want to summon Asmodeus.
Fuck.
Like,
sorry.
Basically any red flag you could possibly throw up would just be like, Sybil does not give a shit.
Yes, she's got rose-colored glasses on. They all just look like flags to her, okay?
Yeah.
Ooh, a flag. Ooh, another flag. Ooh, a flag. Yeah.
Wow,
Flags?
God.
Who wrote
So
all
yeah,
these
that's
flags?
and here's what I'll tell you, and I'll give you the mechanical breakdown of this. So obviously, I'm gonna tell you right now, it is unless you drop a truly absurd amount of money on Erica's doorstep right here and right now, there's no way you can leave these grounds with these books with her permission. But if you want to learn one of these spells, I will allow you to pick one, and that you can take notes on the procedures that the book lays out, and then it will take you a few weeks to like learn the spell for anyone trying.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk to Erica on the way out regardless.
Yeah, but still.
But still, we should go ahead and copy one down.
I think Sybil would go with Mind of the Observer.
Okay. Cool.
So
yeah, with like the collective help of everyone who was primarily Mason and Tennille, because they're the ones who really hardcore diving into the. Yes, what's up?
Pause
Split?
before we make that like absolute. I just thought of something. Winged one, probably referring to that bat god, isn't it?
all right, yeah, fuck it, winged one.
No, I'm not saying that that's gonna be
No.
useful. I'm saying that that's.
Well,
to
here's
keep
the
in mind.
thing. It's like that might be more useful, but Sybil would go
Where was the bat god centered?
Australia.
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 Winged
Do
one.
we
if it's
need to
Mothman?
go to Australia?
Yeah, we need to go to Australia.
I believe we were planning on going to Australia in the next looks at watch. I'm not wearing a watch. 6 months.
Okay. And when it comes to the observer, that could be really anything.
Let me
That's
look at.
always
Let me
watching.
look at the skim thing really quickly, just because I want to confirm something for myself.
Word.
Let's see.
I think that's a bit of a leap in logic, because winged one could. I mean, I'm sure.
So
That it would make sense that it's a leap because my only go
So,
on is
in
that
the skim
we've heard
text-
of the bat.
in the skim reading text, and I'll recap this for you. It does mention that the book you are reading, the Narcotic manuscript. It is not by any means the original of where this text comes from. The manuscript does trace the book's like mythic origins from fragments uncovered in like some vast non-human library, which is the namesake, the city of Narcotis. Two prehistoric human empires who consulted with improbable others, which the book kind of gleans as flying barrel-shaped beings, which is lining up with what the winged one seems to be. The spell is communicating with those improbable others. There are. I'll give you this, and I'm not trying to sway your decision one way or the other. I'm just clarifying the points for you. It does seem like the mind of the observer, whatever entity that is more connected to the library in the city of Nyarlathotep than it is with the barrel-shaped flying beings. So like it seems like you have Nyarlathotep, and seems like the mind of the observer is connected to that, and then you have barrel-shaped flying creatures that also imparted knowledge that ultimately led to the culmination of the Nyarlathotep manuscript. So it's like these two different sources of mythological human prehistory. So I'll just clarify that little point for you.
So it's a question of who we want to bug.
Yeah.
Well, also you got to keep in mind that apparently, like, depending on, proximity, and I'm like, well, we know we'll run into some winged. I mean, either way, we'll probably sure we'll run into both. Dream big.
Sounds like the observer is kind of stuck at the library, and the winged ones seem to be some kind of ancient being that could be anywhere. So...
well, I think Sybil... Winged one, given that knowledge of, like, proximity, because otherwise she'd be like, mind of the observer. That one probably has more answers.
I guess from like
Library
an
man!
accessibility standpoint,
Yeah.
the winged one is like
Available. Yeah.
a wider range for contact if we ever do contact it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
So Sybil's gonna put down the one for the contact winged one.
Cool, just so we can get this on paper. And so I'd like you to make a note of this, Kristen, and as well, just go ahead and roll 2d6 for me to determine how many weeks it'll take Sybil to effectively like learn this spell. 5. Okay. Just like your 5 weeks to like learn this spell. Cool. So I'd like someone to keep track of that. That would be great. Yes. Excellent. Great. Cool. So you pick that spells when you can copy down. You feel like you could copy down the other one, but you're really pushing the limits of Erica's hospitality right now, and it's getting late.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's like I'd say it's like getting closer to like 11 p.m. right now.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, late.
Sybil is like stares at clock, like willing it to go back. Like if I stare at it for long enough, it will.
Sybil's shoulder.
But
It's getting late. We should probably go.
fine. Maybe I can ask her if we can come back later. Once we're done solving murders in Harlem.
How about this? Let's go find her before we leave. First, to say a proper goodbye, because that is what you do, as far as I know.
It is indeed what you do.
And we probably ask her to name a price.
I don't
She's
know.
rich. I doubt she wants any money, but I don't know. It's probably something we could do.
We can ask.
I don't know.
But the
Maybe
re-
she wants some work done.
Yeah, we can ask.
Great.
Sorry, that was
I just asking for a friend. The friend is me. Was that conversation within earshot of the other members of the party?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's
probably.
a lot. It is yeah, probably.
Probably.
Kid slowly stands up, straightens out all his clothing. Please give Miss Carlisle my regards. I'll be waiting in the car. He leaves. Just fucking leaves.
Yeah.
Sunil immediately stands up and is like, well, I guess I'm going to the car. So you can
Mason,
Tell
who
her it was
wasn't
nice
paying
to meet her.
attention.
Mason was like looking at one like illustration in the Takagi manuscript and just like, huh?
Just looks up and Kit and Sunil are leaving.
Where did Kit and Sunil go?
To the car,
To the car.
apparently.
Are you also not going to the car?
Well, we have to say
We're-
goodbye to Erica first.
What she said.
Why didn't we all go to say goodbye to Kit?
You know, Mason.
You know what? You don't have to. It's okay. If you feel uncomfortable.
I didn't volunteer to
don't
come in
know.
to say goodbye to her, so that's win-win for both of us. Slams a book, closed, walks back to the fucking car.
Sybil sits there and is like, "Come along, dear."
I have like a subtle hint in my head just going like James and Mason exchange a high five on their passing.
Mason,
I don't know why.
Mason walking past James gives him like the elbow as he passes. We all know what it means. It's the elbow.
Oh, he returned the elbow. It was an elbow to elbow.
It was an elbow to elbow as he just walks past. That's it.
So
Great.
yes, you step out into the cold night air, Mason, joining Kit and Sunil, who actually you have to wait there for a minute because the valet is bringing the car back around. Leaving James and Sybil inside, or stepping back out. Erica, who comes down in. I didn't plan for this to line up. But I need to clarify, this was my intention before I heard these two chucklefucks speak to me. In a truly revealing nightgown, in an intimidating way, in an intimidatingly attractive way. It is a power play. I didn't plan for it to be more than this. Stands at the top of the stairs, lead up to the second floor, one hand on her hip, the other hip popped out. As she... There's an air of cordiality to her, but she's clearly like, you have lightly inconvenienced her. As she says, well, Sybil, darling, I hope you found everything that you were looking for in there.
Well, I mean, we found some things, but I think it's probably more than an afternoon's worth of work ahead of us. I hope, to maintain, maybe I can come see you a little bit more. That might be an option.
She is not the best at speaking sometimes.
I think the corner of Erica's mouth quirks up a little bit, and she just goes, yes, we have been friends long enough for me to understand her inner workings when it comes to the social matters.
I mean, it's not as bad as, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as Robert's 15th birthday party. It could be worse.
You're doing great, dear.
Quite so. Well,
What she's trying to say
yes.
is we have found things of interest.
Yes.
Well,
Things that she has interest in.
Very
And
much
we
so.
were wondering if there was a way that you'd be willing to part with the book.
she takes a few steps down the stairs, still very much in kind of gliding, one hand on her hip, and she just says, the book's in Roger's safe, you mean?
Indeed. At least one of them.
While I may not have any care or interest in whatever frightening text those tomes contain within, I'm not unwise enough to be aware of the fact that those are worth probably quite a lot of money to collectors, and in fact I had placed some calls today with which to get them properly appraised.
Well,
Name your price.
Well, I need to get them appraised before I can name my price, but Sybil, darling, with all affection and no offense intended, can you truly cover for what these books are worth? I can
Well.
only assume based on what I have glimpsed at. But I can't guarantee anything until I've had them properly appraised.
Well, like I said, I'll do anything for answers.
I'm sure you will, Sybil, darling. I'm sure you will. The difference between you and me, however, is, well, I know where the road stops. Get home safe, the both of you. And if you ever want to get back in touch, you know how to reach me. Hopefully next time we can commune over less debase matters.
I would like that very much.
Get home safe, the both of you. And she full turned and walks back up the steps, fully with the intent of making you watch her go up with every movement of her hips. She is using her body as a weapon against you both, and it is working.
Yeah.
But Erica's butler kind of comes up to you and just says, "The car is waiting for you, ma'am," and kind of like escorts you both outside, where Kit, Neil, Mason have kind of made their way into their vehicles that have been brought around. Sybil and James, you both can get into yours, and the lot of you can head back down to New York. Who's in which cars, by the way?
I mean, Sybil rides with James, because
Yep.
Sybil always rides with James.
Of course.
So,
James is
Kit's,
one of the drivers.
Kit's driving. Sunil followed second, so Sunil's probably shotgun, and Mason pick a car.
I'll pick the one with Kit and Sunil. Well, Mason knew what was going on. He's not gonna ask any questions until much later. Assuming that's something.
All he would need to be, like, literally, all he would need to do is, like, pop his head into the car and be like, "Did it work? No. Okay."
Amazing. Cool. So, under the dark, star-filled night sky, you guys pull out of the gated Carlisle Mansion estate and begin pulling down the snowy, forested roads out of Westchester until eventually you get back into the buzz of Manhattan proper. What you guys are kind of making the drive back to the plaza. Is there any conversation that's happening en route, or are you guys just kind of like driving and getting back home so you can get some sleep?
I wanted to be known that Sunil probably did a slightly obnoxious impression of Erica. That damn African woman, Benet.
Sybil would just like, I always wonder why we didn't get together, and then I remember it's the racism.
I mean, come on,
Yeah,
it's modern day 1925. What the fuck? We're behind that now.
We say dealing with a racist police procedural in New York City.
God.
That
See,
shit's all behind us.
here's the thing, is that James and Sybil are in their car, and she's like, I always wondered why we didn't get together. It's the racism. And yet they're both sitting there staring out the windshield in silence, having that fucking image in their heads still.
Haunted by Erica Carlisle's hips.
Love to watch her leave, baby. Love to watch her leave.
Listen, all I'm saying is, Erica Carlisle is a very powerful woman to distract Sybil Cordova from how much she wants those fucking books.
Newly hates to watch her arrive. Absolutely loves to watch her leave.
But Mason had a random thought when he was sitting in the car. Just
Oh, God,
driving
save
on
us
the
all,
way
okay.
back. Yeah, driving on the way back. He's just like tapping his foot, tippy tappy. He keeps looking at the front of the car, looking at Kit, looking at Sunil. Then he slumps back in his seat. Hey Kit, so you know how a car has like light bulbs, right?
Yes, cars have lights. Do you need the inner light on, or?
No. That's fine. It's more about the outside. Do you think if you press the gas and the brake at the same time, the car take a snappy?
I knew exactly what you were going.
Kit like chokes on air.
A bullet flies through the windshield and hits Mason Allen in the forehead.
Whoa, what was that? Was I just lobotomized?
He gets Pulp Fiction Marvined against the back window.
Ah, fuck! I shot Mason.
I shot Mason in the face.
I shot him in the face.
I shot Mason in the face.
Kit like chokes on air. He chokes back a laugh. He looks up into the rear view to make eye contact with Mason through the rear view and just, Mason, I know we didn't go over this specifically in our driving lessons, but never hit the gas and the brake at the same time.
Mason is dead serious, by the way. He's staring back up at the rear view. Why?
Because that's way to fuck up your transmission and your engine, and you'll be stuck in the middle of nowhere. It's not worth it for the sake of your gearbox. Any more questions?
Well, let's consider that maybe it's like the gas makes it go, the brake makes it stop. So if you press it at the same time, wouldn't that just it's equilibrium? It's a paradox, right?
Yeah, and then it fucks up the gearbox, you know, the part that makes everything else go. It tears it apart, practically. Buy your own car and do your own experiments. We're not doing this in a rental.
Sure.
It's very good that James is in the other car.
Neil's just looking forward. He doesn't know how to process what is going on. Like, he can hear the slight irritation in Kit's voice, but also he can hear the pure just not understanding in Mason's voice. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's
Wait.
I love that this is the fucking conversation, and you just cut back to James and Sybil. Girl good, girl good.
Girl not good.
James and Sybil just ass in their fucking minds.
But yeah, Mason, slumps back down in his chair and begins to tap his leg again, basically shaking his entire side of the car. Tappy.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Don't
Okay,
lie
when
to
you look in the
me.
rearview mirror, Mason is sweaty.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not.
He didn't have to look. He just heard. No, I'm good. No, you're not. What is it?
I've never been better, as a matter of fact. Actually.
Mason Allen.
Hmm?
What? Do you want to talk later, or?
No. I mean, do you want to talk later? We can always talk later. I've got a lot of water in my room. If you want to just sit and talk.
Well, my door's always open, Mason. Just
Cool.
letting you know. You know where my room is.
For sure. Yeah, we could always talk later. What is your sister like?
He's a little caught off guard by this frank question, and sort of like, well, she's incredibly smart. She is a professional.
Huh.
She has got a wicked sense of humor. Emphasis on the wicked, unfortunately, sometimes. No, she's, I mean, as far as sisters go, 10 out of 10, I suppose. I don't know. Sunil, you've got a more objective opinion on this.
Oh, we're talking about how great Aaron Sullivan is. Well, in this essay, I will.
Every time Kit listed off a trait that just made Aaron better and better, you notice that Mason's foot taps faster. The prospect of this is gonna be difficult.
Oh god damn boy.
Not that kind of.
That's not even where I was going.
A fucking like local highway cop pulls you over. It's like, I heard banging from the oh, it's just this twink. Gotcha. No.
Look like you're having a party in there. What's going on?
Well, let's just say this. She'd give anyone a run for their money.
I
Just-
like runs for my money. Yeah, that's
You know,
that's cool.
just a reminder. She will snap you in half. That was not.
We are focusing on the road. As much as I appreciate the lovely conversation keeping me from falling asleep at the wheel, could we please pivot to something else?
Literally anything else.
Sure. So
Anything else.
of course, yeah, we could talk about it. So back to the car again.
And anyway, so panning away
And
from
then
and then we cut away, and then we cut away from that conversation. Everyone else arrives back in New York City. Pulls with the plaza, get your cars properly, valeted. And everyone can make it back to the hotel. The entire time, Sybil and James still got ass on the mind.
Eventually, Sybil got off of the Erica Carlisle hot topic back to I need fucking books.
James is still a little stuck,
But everyone gets
but
back to
that'll probably change by the night.
so everyone gets back to the Plaza Hotel. Everyone gets up to their rooms. Anything that transpires that people want to do, anyone they want to talk to, or is this a pretty uniform, like, yep, we get back, we're all tired from the day, let's go to bed?
I mean, yeah, it's like what, an hour-long drive?
From Carlisle Mansion's actually closer to 45, only because like
Okay.
it's not that far. So it's not like a
Okay.
terribly long drive. So you're getting in back around like midnight-ish. A little bit before midnight, probably.
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's late. So
Yeah, it's late.
As everyone's heading to the rooms, Mason kind of does that like jog next to James with like the elbows, like, yo, did it work? Did it work? Shit. And jogs off.
You fucking dick.
I hate this.
Hey, did it work? Nah, fuck. Shit.
Everyone goes up to their rooms. Cool. And if there's nothing else to be done, then everyone goes to sleep. The night passes, and we shall pick up tomorrow. All right, so it is now the morning of Thursday, January 22nd. So, that morning, everyone wakes up on their own individual time, get ready however the day is started. Is the general plan all the time just like we wake up and at this time we all meet up in Sybil's room to like,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yep. I mean, however people get ready, those of you who want to get breakfast can easily procure it at the plaza. Eventually everyone is now up in the Cordova's suite, where the day is yours to discuss what you want to get done today.
Okay, so we got a lot of information yesterday. Wish Erica would let me have those books, but that didn't work. So, I guess for now, murder mystery.
Right. Well, I was thinking, the good psychologist, Dr. Houston, I could probably do a little bit of digging on that angle, so you won't be too disappointed, Sybil. We're not completely dropping that lead. I'm probably gonna call Erin and ask her and see if she can dig something up on that route, on that end. So,
Right. There's that. That's good. what else do we have?
Keeper, I wanted to ask a question.
What is up?
When I woke up this morning,
Mm-hmm.
did it seem like any of my locks were messed with?
I mean, all the hotel rooms have like the little deadbolts in them. And like, so like the fact that that's not open, you close it every night, I would assume that's not open, you know, that's like nothing like seems like, because if anyone wanted to really get into your room and like they'd either have to climb in through the window and there's not a fire escape out that window, or they'd have to like break down the door
Okay.
to get past a deadbolt. And so nothing about the door looks like it's been fucked with.
Cool, no problem. I just, I saw that stinger and,
Yeah,
know?
yeah, you saw that stinger. What'd you think about it, Jordan? What'd you think
Fuck
about?
you.
Yeah, great. Love that for you.
That shit scares me. I don't like it.
It's almost like we're playing a horror. It's almost like we're playing a horror game or something. So anyway, cool. Sorry, resume your conversation. My bad.
Yes. Sorry.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe go with what we got from Hilton Ad. Then, granted, we don't have a.
Is visiting the speakeasy we heard about this Makunga fellow.
Yes. So maybe check that out today. That might.
I can do that.
Yeah, the what was it? 139th and 6th. I think
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a coffee shop above the speakeasy too, so that should at least be open during the day.
Hmm. All right. So James is going. I can go with James. I already gave Silas Nikwane. He already knows about both of us, so then it would be even more obvious that we're checking coffee.
Mike's cutting out, Kristen.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Love that. Neat.
You gotta lean closer to it.
My one concern with with James and I checking out this coffee shop is, I think we both gave Silas Nikwane our names, which means that we'd be even more on the radar than we already are. Can you not hear me?
There is
it's a
knocking at the door.
Oh, there's a knock on the door.
James just kind of like to everyone gestures, just quiet down. Takes gun out, right? And just slowly goes to the door, cracks it open.
There are 5 uniformed police officers standing outside the hotel door.
Puts
And-
gun away.
And the one at the head says, James O'Connell?
That is me.
Great. New York Police Department. Can we come in?
Kit like mouth
Eh,
like
Yeah,
are
that's
any of them
fine.
like, do you recognize them?
Do I recognize any of them?
You don't recognize any of them. They're all uniformed, they're all badged, they all have like they're all strapped with the standard gear. But like none of them are like familiar faces. They look like regular, beat cops.
Yeah.
A question before
Yeah, what's
we
up?
proceed. Is there a way to identify whether or not they're from Harlem?
This taps into me, Xander's knowledge of the details of a uniform back then, and if police badges signified which precinct they belonged to. I'm going to say, for fun, dramatic pulp flair, that the badges do say the precinct on them. These all cops seem to be wearing badges for precinct 14 in Harlem, which you guys are not in Harlem. Maybe come in.
He looks back at everybody else, and with Kit specifically, he shakes his head.
Kit sort of nods, but like, shit, there's not really good option.
He
other
not
than-
only that, but he does mouth toward Kit. He goes, "Harlem."
slow nod and just sort of like gestures at the head, like, let them in. We'll play it cool.
And with that, He closes the door again, undoes the chain lock on it, and opens the door.
As soon as that chain lock is off, the one of the officers is already not like shoving it open, but with a forceful push, pushing the door the rest of the way open, so that all 5 of the cops can enter the suite and be like, "Thank you very much, sir." And they all like walk into like the room and do that fucking cop thing where they stride in, they look just kind of around, and you can tell that they're not looking for anything in particular. They're just looking around, and they form this kind of like little formation in the middle of the room until their group is all just looking at your group.
Yeah.
Question: did they do that cop thing where they shuffle like one foot, left foot a little bit, and then they just like
Yep.
hand on belt?
James is staying by the door and generally behind their line of sight.
The cop at the head, kind of like who was talking to you, James, just goes, "Good morning. How you folks doing?"
Good morning.
Good. Would you like some water?
"Oh no, we're good, but thank you. It's quite the swanky place you got here. You staying here, all of you?" "Well, it's very nice.
Indeed.
Clearly you're doing well for yourselves." Kind of when the cop like walks over and like kind of like fingers like the finials and the curtains and just kind of like runs a finger along like a bit of like furniture and just kind of like nods and just kind of like looking around, doing that fucking smarmy cop shit. And just goes, "So
How can we help you gentlemen today?"
when you say that with that tone, they all look at each other and they just kind of go like, "All right, yeah, okay, we're doing this." The cop says, "You folks been up to Harlem lately?"
Once or twice for a visit.
"Yeah. Making good contacts. Good time up there, yeah? Nightlife?" Yeah.
Indeed.
It's an interesting area.
Great time.
It is an interesting area. Quite an interesting area. Especially some interesting folks up there, like Millie Adams. You speak to her, yeah?
Lovely gal.
Poking your heads around Sing Sing, too, we hear.
I've got an old friend up there. Yeah.
An old friend. Is that right? Yeah, well, not
Yeah,
for
you
much
ever heard of-
longer.
Oh no. Not that guy in the papers. I'm talking about the other one. A nice tall woman a couple of years ago got put away.
Well, we don't know
That
nothing.
one?
We don't know
Ring a
nothing.
bell?
We don't know nothing about that.
Aphrodite?
Right.
Tried to throw him off the scent a little bit. Fuck, rats.
The cops are all in a position where they're not like they don't have their hands on their weapons, but like their body language says it all. These guys are these are not these are hostiles. They are trying to put you off just by their sheer presence alone. And
It is not happening.
one of the cops kind of like looks around and just goes, "Well, you seem like nice, decent folks. And if this is your first time in the city, which for some of you it may be," looks pointedly at Sunil when he says that. And
God.
one of the cops says, "We're just gonna make this nice and easy for you. It's not safe for folks like you to be poking your head around in Harlem like that. Bad things can happen to people who put their nose where it don't belong. You understand?"
So with the
Kit steps forward at this point. "We understand. Thank you, officers, for your time and your kindness."
Kind of eyes you, Kit, the head cop of this little group, and he's just giving you a little fucking smirk, and he's 100% looking at your scars.
Kit is completely deadpan. He is giving this officer the same treatment he would give a fucking non-com.
Yeah. You kind of like the cop levels eyes with you after really just heavily looking at your scars. "Of course, we just want to make sure that you folks stay safe. After all, people who tend to stir up things in Harlem are dealt with. I assume we're all clear with each other here, so I won't inconvenience you folks' morning much else. So just Hope you have a good rest of
no
your day.
Inconvenience at all. No inconvenience at all. We're always
Thank
happy
you.
for a
Thank you
visit
for
from our
warning.
local law enforcement.
You giving me
Oh.
lip, boy?
No, sir. I am as genuine as always.
Thank you for the New York welcome, officers. We appreciate it. Your hospitality is. Question: are any of the officers close enough that Kit can catch any badge numbers?
I'd say like one of them is like it's yeah, you can catch one of their badge numbers.
Yeah, I'll make a mental note of that and write it down as soon as they leave, so I don't forget. But
You speaking just now, Kit, is what literally just diffused this cop from like looking like he was about to swing and punch James in the face. But he like looks at you and he kind of like looks back at the cops that he comes with and looks back at James and says, "Better fucking watch yourself there, kid. Bad things happen to hotheads in Harlem." And those 5 cops slowly kind of make their way out of the room. Couple of them purposefully like grabbing odd bits of like your belongings that are strewn about James and Sybil, and just kind of like, you know, little shove off a table here, little like throwing something there, just nothing outright, just kind of like on their way out. And just as they're all leaving, the main cop turns around and goes, "I want to clean up your room. A little messy in here." Closes the door.
What can I say? I'm a clutterbug.
Closes the door in his face, locks. Turns back to everybody else. Good thing we're not in Harlem.
good thing we're not in Harlem. Kit gets like his notepad out and scrawls down the badge number real fast. And if there was a name on the badge, he'll scroll that down too.
Yeah, you took all the information.
Hey, Xander, I thought about something.
Hey, what'd you think about?
I tend to have my way around the undergrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, if I really dedicated myself to it, I could probably learn about the local gangs and mafia sorts.
Yeah, possibly. It would take some time, but to learn the
Probably
streets.
takes. But I me't with our plans how they are, I mean, I could show up at the cafe at any point in time. So I could probably do a bit of research.
Research into the gangs, you say?
Research into the gangs. Research into the maybe specifically the more what's the term that I'm looking for? The more organized sort.
Sure. Okay, I'm with you.
That tend to have police like this in their pocket.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I hear you.
Maybe I could promise an odd job or two. I don't know. I don't like these fucking cops.
Yeah, and obviously any information Kit managed to get from the badge, he'll share with anyone that includes a name. So if that would be helpful to James in his endeavors.
As in
would.
his endeavors.
I've got a question. Good thing we didn't do a whole lot of lying because I wanted to ask this before. When I was trying to make sure that people weren't following us, did I happen to recognize any of these cops at some point in Harlem?
No, none of these cops were familiar to you.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Yeah.
How the fuck do they know? How do they know?
It doesn't matter. It could be anyone on any doorstep. People tip off police all the time. It's just how you do. But this one thing, we can't go back to Millie. Not in person. We can't go
No.
back to the pub. Not in person. We don't want to do that to those people. If we're going to be in Harlem, we're going to have to go it our own. I don't know about you, but I don't want to get any of them involved. They're the ones that live there, you know.
That makes
Definitely not. Not with how often they're targeted.
Yeah.
That being said, sorry, but I think I just made myself a target.
I think we're already a target. So
Yeah.
whatever's happened has happened. You didn't do anything wrong. Honestly, I fucking hate cops. So I'm in the same boat as
You
you.
and me both. Bunch of cocksuckers who think that they can be above the law themselves.
Just a bunch of stupid fucking kids who never grew up. That's all. Anyway, so now that they've got an eye on us, we should probably go about these things a little more carefully instead of just walking around during the day in Harlem. If we're gonna go back, we'll have to go back when it's late. Maybe when things aren't as busy.
I think if anything, we could use some allies in this situation.
What are you thinking?
Anything. Either other police sinks, anyone who can get involved.
You're not going to
have
get
a bit
anything
of-
from the precincts. I'm sorry. The way the politics work around here, nobody's going to want to get involved. Not from an official
Understandable.
capacity.
Certainly understandable, but I happen to have a bit of experience in the more nefarious side of things. I could look into that. Probably owe some people some favors here in New York.
I could
Okay.
possibly ask around too. I knew some folks whenever I had my old job. Maybe I could poke around a little bit too.
Just try to not poke around in Harlem.
That's the plan. I don't want Officer Dickhead pulling me over for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess there's no point in checking out the copy.
Not at this point. Everyone
Actually,
just has now.
question for the keeper.
Yes?
Just based off of the information that we have and the sort of experiences that we've had, is it more like when would it be less conspicuous for outsiders to show up in Harlem? Would it be at night or would it be during the day?
I mean, it has a bustling nightlife, so like usually people who are not from Harlem make their way to Harlem at night more often than not. But then again, like Harlem is not like a quiet. It is still a bustling neighborhood, like all throughout the day. So like it's not like you're gonna be like, it's not like this is the Western. It's this group of outsiders who are walking down an empty street. It is a bustling neighborhood still. So it's but like more people who are not from Harlem come to Harlem at night.
Yeah. As long as you're careful and you act a tourist, I don't see what it wouldn't do any harm to check out, the local spots. But just keep an eye out.
But I want that information, but it sounds like if we go in and, it's not the last time we're going in. It could be the last time we go in regardless.
Listen, pardon my language, but they do this shit all the time, alright? This little shakedown, this little intimidation thing, it's nothing new. Do they mean it? Probably, but at the same time, it's an intimidation tactic more than anything else.
So, James is going to look into what information he can. Mason's also going to do something. Kit, you're calling your sister. Want to go to that?
Kristen, you need to lean closer to your mic when you're quiet. You're like that. You're good. You're good. Yeah, it just unfortunately your gain is not your gain. Your Discord said that it cuts you out when you're too quiet.
I can just adjust it.
Yeah, go ahead and adjust that. That might help.
I want to go to that coffee shop. That's what I want. That's what I want to do. I want to go to the coffee shop.
That is in Harlem.
It is in Harlem.
This is a place we were just warned about being around.
Yes, that is true.
Distinctly close to the place they had originally told us shouldn't be snooping around.
I mean,
Might be best not to go so soon.
Not right now.
fine.
Besides, what will we do when we get there? Ask for the man and then what? End up like Mr. Hilton? This is our first warning. Something tells me it's our only warning. Maybe we should look into other things, right? Bolster ourselves, make sure we don't immediately fall into whatever traps that they have set for us.
Tell you what. I'll call Aaron about the Dr. Houston stuff. It probably won't take that long, and then maybe Sybil, you and I and Sunil, we could go down to the this is as the player, I can't remember the specific term of the organization that would have taken over his papers.
It's the oh god, I'll get it right. Hold on, let me just flip to it just so I can give you the definitive answer for the notes. Medical Affairs Board.
Yeah, maybe we could go down to the Medical Affairs Board and see if we could get, some insight there or something along that line while James and Mason mind their contacts. So
Okay.
it'll be something, all right?
Yeah.
Sure, it'll be just as exciting.
Sybil's like, there are nice books.
As Sybil huffs toward the ground, James just mouths a quick thank you at Chris.
It just does the nod, as in, God, it's okay. I know how to handle my daughter.
The police said no, Sybil, but I wanted to go to the coffee shop, Sybil. But I wanted to go to the coffee shop.
But I wanted to put my life in danger.
Damn it.
Medical intrigue, Sybil. Medical intrigue.
Medical intrigue.
Well, Mason might head to his apartment to get his contacts.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be like
Yeah.
like an old dusty contact book that he left under a floorboard, slid it to the side, pushed away some scribbles on paper, and grabbed this old contact book. He hasn't seen this in
Yeah.
4 years.
Totally. Okay, cool. So that's what Mason wants to do. That's the plan. Anything else on the things on the docket people want to do? For this first step of the morning. Don't have to plan out your entire morning, but
Yeah. So James is gonna look into the more underground shit.
Sure.
I guess first thing he'd have to do is look into where these people operate. And then with him, it's the only option, but the direct approach.
So, just to clarify, you're looking exclusively for gang-related information regarding the area where the cops of the 14th Precinct in Harlem would be involved.
anything to kind of protect us or keep a watch over us while we do our thing. So, if that's what it is, then yes.
I mean, it ultimately breaks down, I'd say, between if you would rather look into information about what gangs operate in that area versus which gangs in general in the city could I possibly get some protection from.
Probably that part, the latter.
Okay.
Yeah, probably the latter, and probably something significant.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah, we'll address that.
Sick.
I'm looking something up very quickly. Hold on. But yeah, is that all? Just from everybody? Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing
Cool.
quite like an early morning shakedown to wake you up.
Certainly.
Cool. Okay. Let's start with, well, the quickest one out of the way. Let's get Mason out of the way. So Mason, you can easily hit the streets of New York and make your way over to grab your contacts list from your apartments. That's completely
Was
easy.
my house fucked with at all? Or not house? Was my apartment fucked with?
No, it's basically
Nope.
dusty and untouched.
Okay, cool.
Cool. What contacts are you looking for in that book, just in general?
It's more in line with, because Mason was a popular sort, the possibility that he's able to use any crooked police that went there to identify these crooked police that are kind of going, or maybe to see if like he can call a rich man to get some kind of help in the situation.
Okay, I see
Out of
what
all
you're...
your ideas, like I'm trying to like piece together some ideas, but they're
Okay,
Mason was one way or another. He's gonna try to use that to his advantage.
here's what I'll say.
Hmm.
You can give me a charm check. You're gonna need a hard success on this.
Oh fuck.
Because I figure if Mason's trying to smooge up to any of his old contacts, he's putting on the charm.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's do a charm check with as a hard success. Okay, so that is...
How close? How close? Hold on.
It's pretty close to a hard success.
Mason, luckiest man alive. Alan may have to use some luck points.
Close, air quotes. It's like the half value of... Hold on.
What is it? Half and quarter, is it?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh,
You're 1 point of success away from, I believe, what qualifies as the half value for 55, which I believe is 27.
Goodbye, 98 luck points. Hello, 97 luck points.
I can actually, yeah, let me double check that real quick. 20, 55.
Yeah, that'd be 27 rounded down.
Yep.
Oh no, Mason lost a single luck point. What a tragedy.
Okay.
Oh no.
So here's what we'll say. This will consume a few hours of your time this morning, probably into the afternoon. Not terribly late, but I'll summarize this for you. Schmoozing up to old contacts, reaching out to people the best as you can, and putting the charm on. I mean, like, these are probably just fucking beat cops who work for... I mean, like, this is not necessarily like the things that you are told exactly, but this is like, I'll give you the pieces put together after your endeavor here. I mean, like, the 14th precinct is Captain Robson's precinct, and you've heard plenty about Captain Robson from your investigations alone. I mean, like, if these are just like beat cops, and these are just the men on his payroll who he told to go tell you to fuck off, like, that is not a getting names. Good fucking luck, buddy. Like that, there's how many beat cops are there in this city, and like in that precinct alone, like, demands on, I mean, the loyalty of the precinct alone is probably gonna make this a hard effort for you. But like, I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, like, if you, and I think the best advice any of your contacts would be able to give you on this matter is like, well, we can't help you. This is the NYPD. So like, maybe don't get in trouble. Like, maybe just don't cross them. That's, I mean, given the contexts the context that Mason would have had, not really anyone who can really help you in these circumstances. But like, it definitely impart. One of them probably asks you, "What are you doing this weekend?" But like, yeah. So that's unfortunately probably the most you're gonna get from the kind of contacts Mason would have made over the years, especially from if you reach out to any like corrupt cops on the old payroll who you would have known. Yeah, it's the same deal of just being like, don't fuck around with police politics. Like they're clearly telling you to beat it before they beat you.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Unfortunate indeed.
Unfortunate.
Let's jump over to Kit, your endeavors. Who else with you again?
It would be Sybil and Sunil, but first off,
Oh, you want to call Aaron first? Yes.
Aaron, yeah.
Yes. And I've established that I'm not going to make you roleplay this entire conversation. I will just summarize it. However, I do want you to do a thing for me as Aaron, because Kit's asking her what she knows about Dr. Houston, right?
Correct.
I'm debating me, the keeper. I'm debating if this is an idea or this is either an idea roll or a learning roll, like of her knowledge of. No, you know what? She we're gonna have this be an idea roll. So that's gonna be rolling her intelligence score, because this is not. She didn't. Where did Aaron go to school again? Harvard as well.
God, actually, hold on. Let me pull it up because it wasn't technically Harvard because I did a lot of research into this, and Harvard wasn't technically. Anyway, she went to school at. Let me find it. Sorry, scrolling. The Boston University School of Medicine.
Okay, so basically here's I'm gonna say this is an idea roll because she did not get trained or grow up or learn anything in the circles where Dr. Houston was, so this won't be related to her things that she learned from like growing up in the field. This is going to be an idea roll sheerly from things she would have heard, interacted with. So, because she didn't practice. Just straight up intelligence. She didn't practice out of New York, so it's like I'm not calling for like a credit rating roll to see if she knows him socially. This is sheerly reputation alone, hearing it as a fellow psych-related individual. So just straight intelligence. Holy shit!
Good.
Aaron, have I told
God damn!
I love you? Yeah, canon. Okay, anyway.
So what do you want to know about Dr. Robert Houston?
Everything, and also what would be the best angle to get into his records.
With an extreme success, here's what I'll give you, which is not everything, but it's everything that would make sense for Aaron to know.
Give me his social security number.
Yeah, right. That's not invented yet. Dr. Robert Ellington Houston, from what is publicly available, doesn't have a police record, no military service. He graduated from Johns Hopkins with honors, actually. So yeah. He actually used to be a circulatory. He used to have a circulatory ailments practice, but he threw that out along with his wife, and studied under Freud in Vienna, as well as under Jung as well.
God, go figure. He's another Freudian.
Yeah, he was actually among the first Americans to undertake that esoteric and controversial study of the mind, which dealt so much with sexual behavior that no respectable person could talk about it. He had a kind of salacious and dangerous past, seemingly. And apparently he had very elegant manners and a sardonic wit. He was very popular when he came back to New York City. He set up a psychoanalysis gig there, and he catered to the very wealthy. He enjoyed a pretty high degree of fame and notoriety. Like, Aaron would even balk, I think, that his fees were whispered to be around $50 to $60 per visit.
Holy wow.
Yeah, women found him suave, handsome, sensitive, perceptive, and sexy. I'm looking this up right now. Just hold on. Yeah. Okay. And I say that's the gist of all Aaron would know, just from like hearing about Dr. Hughes. And then obviously, oh yeah, he went on that Carlisle expedition thing and died for whatever reasons. Yeah. But yeah, after he was declared dead, as you already know, his records were turned over to the Medical Affairs Board of the state of New York. And actually, I think that Aaron seems like she'd be keyed into like medical news in the newspapers. There's actually kind of it was actually circulated in the news that those records are actually going to be destroyed. But there was controversy that reached the newspapers because, like, man, he was a controversial guy, obviously, because of any Freudian's work is super controversial. All like the old guard of like medical practitioners did not want these to be classified as medical records, because it's all about sex and all that. It's not legit, you know. It's they wanted to destroy them, but it was ruled that these were credibly could be called medical records, so they weren't destroyed. And nobody authorized the destruction as well, and they're probably just in the Medical Affairs Board, because they are there. They would still be regarded as confidential, and getting access to them would, unless you're like, it's going to be a little difficult to get access to them. Not impossible, but like, I mean, it would be easier if you were a practicing physician in the state of New York. But I mean, since you are a doctor anyway, like you might have to do some schmoozing, but like it's not going to be, but like it's better than you just being a random civvy who's asking to see medical records. You are, after all, a doctor. It just might be a little hard for you. Very good doctor.
It's less impossible than it would be under different circumstances.
I think Aaron would just be like, it would just tell you that it's going to be kind of, there's going to be eyes raised as to why a doctor out of, you know, Boston or Berlin or wherever the fuck it is you say you're practicing out of, is asking to see medical records. Not impossible, but it depends on how much of a hard ass the secretary is.
I'm sure we can think of some sort of an angle to try, at least. Well, thank you. You're a lifesaver, as always. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Love you too. Love you too. I'll catch you later. Yeah. Later.
The
Did
plight.
it go well?
Yeah, no. It went quite well. But it's gonna be a little difficult since I don't practice in New York. Last I practiced was, well, Massachusetts, and then, well, but actually, Berlin. Actually, Freud was based out of Vienna, so maybe if we go for the angle that it was for research purposes from his mentor, maybe that would be at least something. I don't know. I'm not really, I don't really go in for this sort of twisting the angle type deal.
Well, you see, you're my doctor, Kit Sullivan, and I am a rich person who is very concerned with areas of the mind. Recently, I just have not quite been feeling myself, and you want to get this person's records and
didn't you have a close personal relationship with Mr. Carlisle as well?
Yes. There's
You're
that.
Just so concerned. You're so worried.
I'm so worried. I'm so just up all night crying about it.
Well, we'll try and go for the academic route first.
But
and,
if all else fails.
If all else fails.
If all else fails, I will cry.
Turn on those waterworks. Got it. God.
Hey! Time to cry on cue!
You're very good at that.
I am!
Okay, so let's cut over to James real quick. So let's see. You agree that your intent here is to find basically hired muscle to kind of hang with you guys and keep you safe.
Yeah.
So here's the fun
Pretty
thing.
much.
Here's the fun thing. I actually have rules in place for this. So, because it's not related to this situation, but it actually works just fine. I mean, like, I'd say that here's what I'll say. Make an idea roll for me very quickly, because this will relate to how much time you waste. So hold on. I want to see how you do. So nothing but idea rolls all the way down. It's just an intelligence roll. You just roll your intelligence ability. Yep. Okay, so fine success. So I think you get like, you leave the plaza, getting you know, cycling it in, and you're just realizing like, wait, why do I have to do all the legwork? Fucking Carlton Ramsey, the guy who is the executor of Jackson's estate, the guy who's managing the fund for our expedition, mentioned to you that if you need to hire people, he's the guy you go to. He can get you hired muscle or professionals to do things for you on either side of the law. And it would come out of Jackson's fund as part of a business expense. So you do that.
I'm just strolling.
So you do that. Cool. I'll say that car. So
James gets in the car, starts going, yeah, I gotta talk to. Wait a minute.
Wait a fucking
Turn his
minute.
car around.
Does a 3-point just...
I'll say that. Okay. You tell Carlton that you're looking for like hired muscle. Okay.
Because the both the law and possible other people looking at us.
He's gonna present you with 3 options from his contact books that he's had for people in the criminal world.
Right.
Well, I'm looking this up. I'm truly sorry. There's an Irish name, and I'm truly learning how to pronounce it. Okay, I found it.
Fucking take your time, dude.
Yeah.
I get it.
Okay, so he presents you with 3 people that like, you know, that he has in context wise that he can reach out to the criminal underworld and get you in their services. He brings up a guy who kind of used to live around San Juan Hill. He actually lives up in Harlem. Used to be a chauffeur for like a wealthy family before he was fired for an illicit affair with his boss's son. A guy he's like a muscle and a driver kind of guy named Buford Jones. He brings up a half Chinese, half Irish kid who's a bit of a boxer and a muscle for hire down in Chinatown.
Okay.
Named Fergal Wong. And then the last one he actually brings up is a woman, who he tells is not like on the muscle side, but Carlton refers to her as a security expert and occult dabbler by the name of Clodagh Bannon. And like, so yeah, so she's actually a daughter from a long line of policemen. So he brings up those people for you. That he could hire any number of them for you if you want to. 1 to all 3 if you wanted.
Right. How much do they cost? It's all coming out of Jackson.
Irrelevant
shit,
to you because it's part of the expedition fund. Yeah.
Right. How much of that? See, that expedition fund doesn't really fucking matter to us right now, does it?
What do you mean?
I think he means we're not thinking about how much we're gonna need later.
I mean, it sounds like basically it will never run out. It would take a lot for it to run out. So
basically, where I'm at right now is, would it really bother us if we just said, I'm hiring all 3 of them? No.
Fuck it, we need all 3. With the shit that
Fucking
might
we're
happen.
taking all 3.
Let's go with all three.
Make some friends. Fuck it. We don't have enough friends.
So you tell Carlton to go ahead and hire Clodagh, Buford,
Fucking get 'em all.
and Feargal. Yeah, sure thing. You get
Do any of them have like contact with actual like big gangs in the city?
I mean, Clodagh sidelines as a criminal mastermind, so like she probably has some connections to wider gangs.
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot.
She also daylights as a piano teacher. Irrelevant, but I want you to know that.
I fucking love this woman.
Cool. Great.
All
So
right.
you go ahead,
Hire
put in the
them
world,
all.
put in the world Carlton to hire these three hirelings for kind of like keeping watch and you guys keeping you safe. Cool. And we're gonna go to break before we step to the next step of our investigation. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. So stay tuned. We will be right back with more Call of Cthulhu: Masks of Nyarlathotep. Do not go anywhere.
The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. For the eyes are not here. There are no eyes here in this valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, this broken jaw of our lost kingdoms. In this last of meeting places, we grope together and avoid speech, gathered on this beach of the Tumid River. Sightless, unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star multifoliate rose of death's twilight kingdom, the hope only of empty men.
Hello and welcome back, everybody. All right, so let us resume with our little New York escapade. Let's pick up with Kit and Sybil and Sunil over at the Medical Affairs Board, because I assume you're going over there.
Yes.
Okay, so you get, I'd say that factoring in the conversation with Aaron, you get there after lunchtime. You know not to show up at an office at noon because no one's gonna be fucking there unless you're trying to break in.
Right.
Yeah, I mean oh god, I need to pull up the address again. Hold on. Yeah, you, Sunil, and Sybil head to the offices of the Medical Affairs Board over on Park Avenue at 61st, finding your way to Suite 1002. You pass a guard in the lobby. Just making your way up to the office.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Cool. All right, yeah, you guys get up there, and there's a gentleman, God, I mean, I don't know how to describe him, so I'll just refer to you, Kit, just by saying this guy looks like run-of-the-mill hospital administration type. Just, he's like an older, approaching middle-aged gentleman in like a suit and tie who seems, you would assume, the placard on his desk when you meet him is a Mr. Adrian Ferris. You chalk this guy up to be secretary of the board. Who, when you guys enter, brief instructions are made betwixt you guys, and Mr. Ferris just says, how can I help you today?
I'm actually looking for some particular medical records. Someone, Dr. Houston passed recently, and I was looking for information.
Kind of like, I mean, recently, if you're talking about Dr. Robert Houston, that's like 6 years ago now, isn't it? I mean, I suppose fairly recent compared to the thing that's been going on in general across the world. Yeah, you want his files? Might I inquire as to what your purpose is? Also, you mentioned you were a doctor?
Yes.
Where'd you
correct.
receive your training, Dr. Sullivan?
Harvard Medical School.
Fancy school. I did a lot of battlefield medicine.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well,
Here, man.
I appreciate your service, Dr. Sullivan. Where do you practice in the state of New York?
I don't practice in the state of New York. I am here visiting on business from Berlin. That's where I practice nowadays.
Oh, Berlin. Very fancy. That's over in Germany. What brings you to the States? What brings you to New York?
Partially visiting family, partially
Uh-huh.
looking into affairs of some friends, looking to put together some case studies.
Case studies pertaining to...
Medicine in terms of psychology, especially.
Of course, understandable and admirable endeavor. What does the files of Dr. Robert Houston have to do with that research? Just digging into old matters? I mean, it's hardly worthwhile. His files are discarded somewhere in this office, and I mean, are you looking to publish that sort of salacious material?
Pardon. He was one of the first Americans trained by, well, Freud. So
And Young,
yes,
I'm familiar with him.
Young. So the idea was putting together case studies concerning the training of physicians in America as opposed to over in Europe, sort of a comparison type thing.
Because this is a blatant lie, this has to be a fast talk check, because that's the only thing that you can do lying with. And I'm going to say what the book says. Fast talk attempts on Mr. Ferris require a hard success.
Yeah, there's no way that's gonna happen. I'm
Trying to find.
going to. I'm thinking. Kit's just like, oh fuck.
Now again, Kit, I will allow group checks of this, okay, but like if someone has a higher fast talk score in this group, you may certainly. Yeah, no one does.
Sybil?
Yeah.
Sybil?
So
I have a 5. In
Sorry.
fact.
Yeah, that's the base. That's
yeah.
the base.
Sorry you
I also have a
chose.
5.
Sorry that you chose the lie for this circumstance. Oh, buddy, I'm sorry.
It was
Oh, no.
honestly one of the most plausible things to go with.
Fortunately, still a lie. So everyone here just has a 5 in fast talk.
Yeah.
I've
You're
got
not
a
there.
45.
You're
not there.
I'm not there. I'm not there. I can't help.
If I'd known that you, if only we'd known.
Am I allowed to just change tactics?
I will allow
instead
you to
of
change tactics. Yes.
Kit just sort of he sees the sort of incredulity on the guy's face and just sighs and just, all right, I'm gonna be level with you and I'm gonna get rid of all the fancy talk. My adoptive daughter is a very close friend.
It's not a technical lie. I just love you referring to her as an adoptive daughter.
My adoptive daughter is
It's just like.
my adoptive daughter is a close friend of the Carlisle family, and we're interested in the case files for that reason, pertaining to the expedition.
So this is not material with which you are attempting to publish a analysis, a paper. This is simply on the basis of closure.
Yes, it would be completely confidential.
Dr. Sullivan, from Boston or Berlin, as you said, I'm sure you understand, of course, the nature of confidentiality in the Medical Affairs Board. And that is
Yes,
to say that, well, look, I'll put it simply like this. You're not from around here. I'm concerned with the affairs of New York, the state of New York, not just the city. Boston's not far. I'll give you 20 minutes with the box. Can't take anything with you. I'll have the guards set you on the way out. If you just want to look through it for the sake of your friend here, or your adopted daughter, my apologies, proceed. But again, it's entirely confidential. and just, you may take a gander under your own jurisdiction, Dr. Sullivan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ferris, and sincerely, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I should have cried.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you guys find a kind of shows you where the files are, presents you with a simple manila file headed Carlisle, Roger VW. Sybil, you know that's because the VW, Roger's middle name is Vane Worthington.
What a wonderful middle name. Sorry, Vane Worthington.
Well, it's two middle names.
Ollie.
It's two. It's Roger Vane Worthington Carlisle.
What a great name. Holy shit. Sorry, I don't know what it is that makes it
I'm glad it tickles you so
imagining
much.
Sybil like laughing in Roger's face when she while she's
100%. She heard his middle name and she burst out fucking laughing. Vane Worthington. I'm sorry. It's very respectable. I'm sorry.
continue.
This shrieking monkey laugh that can easily be heard by Mr. Ferris. Anyway, Mr. Ferris says like people process grief in different ways. Cool. Anyway, yeah.
No. She learned his middle name ages ago. There's no way she doesn't know. It's just this moment. I forgot.
So I got some news for you.
Some news.
This has a handout. So I'm gonna drop this to the chat first, and then, as always, I'll preface. I will always offer to read it aloud first, unless somebody else is like, I want to read it aloud. So like,
Do my best.
if you want, I'm not saying I will happily read it if you don't want to read it.
I'll read it.
You'll give it. It's all.
I'll give it the old
It's
college
typewritten.
track.
It's typewritten, so it's not like it's like a font issue.
I will do you one better, and I will read it out loud as kid.
Just let the man read it.
I'm always here.
Okay. Well, before you start reading it, I'll send it in the chat. Now let me put it up on the stream. Let's see. Where is the?
Y'all
That's a
two
lot of
fighting over
words.
who reads.
It's a lot of words.
Oh, that's a lot of words.
What the hell?
Words. I want to see these words. Oh damn,
Hold on.
It's a lot.
that's a lot of fucking
The
words.
Nairobi notes. I'm actually something like, where the hell is? I suppose I don't have it ready for the clue window, but that's okay. It's not like it would be super visible anyway. Sorry, chat. You'll just have to listen
Sorry,
along.
chat.
I'll post it in the fan server after the show, as always.
You get my dulcet tones instead.
Always happy to hear them.
Actually,
all
I'm
right.
gonna change the music before you read this just to make it more dramatic. Proceed.
All right. First meeting, January 11th, 1918. Reference, Erica Carlisle, closest relative. Also, Erica Carlisle. At his sister's insistence, Mr. Roger Vane Worthington Carlisle visited me this morning. He deprecates the importance of his state of mind, but concedes that he has had some trouble sleeping due to a recurring dream in which he hears a distant voice calling his name. Parenthetically, interestingly, the voice uses Mr. Carlisle's second given name, Vane, by which Mr. Carlisle admits he always thinks of himself.
Bada bing.
Simple giggles.
Carlisle moves towards the voice and has to struggle through a web-like mist in which the caller is... This is typed out, understood to stand. The caller is a man, tall, gaunt, dark. An inverted ankh blazes on his forehead. Following the Egyptian theme, parenthetically, C has had no conscious interest in things Egyptian, he says. The man extends his hands to C, his palms held upward. Pictured on his left palm, C discovers his own face. On the right palm, C sees an unusual, misshapen pyramid. The caller then brings his hands together, and C feels himself float off the ground into space. He halts before an assemblage of monstrous figures. Figures of humans with animal limbs, with fangs and talons, or of no particular shape at all. All of them circle a pulsating ball of yellow energy, which C recognizes as another aspect of the calling man. The ball draws him in. He becomes part of it and sees through eyes not his own. A great triangle appears in the void, its twisted symmetry of the same fashion as the vision of the pyramid. C then hears the caller say, "And become with me a god." As millions of odd shapes and forms rush into the triangle, C wakes. C does not consider this dream a nightmare, although it upsets his sleep. He says that he revels in it, and that it is a genuine calling, although my strong impression is that he actually is undecided about it. An inability to choose seems to characterize much of his life. September 18th, 1918. He calls her Maweru, Anastasia, and my priestess. He's obsessive about her, as well he might be. Exterior devotion is certainly one way to ease the tensions of megalomaniacal contradictions. She is certainly a rival to my authority. December 3rd, 1918. If I do not go, C threatens exposure. If I do go, all pretense of analysis surely will be lost. What then will be my role?
Generally, while reading through the files of the medical records of, on Carlisle, you get the impression, you perceive that the more Houston grew to know Carlisle, the less Houston was willing to put on paper about him. And I'd say that, like, going through a couple of other files, the timing of the expedition around this, also around December, you don't find any explicitly like details on this, but it does coincide with some kind of event that happened in Houston's life that he clearly did not want to be known. But it's not anything you find in these records of the patients. But it is kind of a smattering of the writings you can piece together. Houston clearly, this coincided around the time as Houston had something going on, and could be coincidentally what he's referring to by exposure. You're not sure though.
Well, this just gives us more questions.
Questions upon questions. Megalomaniacal. God. Aaron's right. Freudians really are something else.
I want to know about this thing he was worried about being exposed.
I will say on crimes, if you want, as you use your socialite powers, activate, to see if you can find any information on that. That's something you could easily spend your time doing for a little bit today, is trying to question to see like what that might be. In which case, like, I'd ask you to devote a few hours of that to today. It's now in the afternoon, so it'll kind of go into the evening. If that's something you want to do, like looking into more information about Dr. Houston.
Yeah.
Cool.
This is enough for Sybil to not be like, I am interested in this now.
Cool. Yeah. Kit, you content with that?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything of note that we've got.
Cool. After wrapping that, cool, you can bounce out of there. We'll get to you, Sybil, in a moment. For everyone else, Mason, you had finished calls. James, you finished up with Carlton Ramsey. Those people will be hired. It'll probably be like probably by tomorrow they can start. I'd say that Carlton does not like excessive expenditures of the fund because it's for the expedition purposes and for solving. I mean, so he ultimately sees this as a worthy expense because it's helping your investigation of it, and you need some protection. That's all fine and good. But he's like, okay, so we're not going to pay these guys around the clock. We are going to you need to plan out how we can feasibly keep these guys on the docket, but You cannot, for the sake of the benefit, hold these guys on your payroll for like more than like 3 days in a row. Beyond that, you need to either do it more sparse or you need to figure out something else entirely, because otherwise those expenditures will negatively affect the fund.
So
We
they're friends
will-
for when we go to Harlem.
Essentially. Just gotta be able to plan out when we need each one. I'm pretty sure the one we're gonna need the most is what was her name again?
Cloda.
Cloda?
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Claudia. Cloda.
Cool.
That one
So
I'm the most interested in.
we have Sybil having her thing. Kit, James, Mason, Sunil, with your task wrapped up, it still only would be like around like a little bit afternoon. What else do you feel like you want to do today?
Is tonight a new moon?
No, that's the 24th. Today's the 22nd. It's 2 days from now
Okay.
is the new moon.
Okay.
I could keep doing research. Or all that kind of shit.
What kind of research?
The same research, basically.
Looking into gang information.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Seeing if there's any names that I could drop. Being
Sure.
like, yes, my boys over here would not like me being arrested and or beaten the shit out of.
Absolutely. Cool. Mason, you got anything you want to do?
Yeah, I'd like to buy a hunting knife.
Cool. What's your I forgot the freaking term for it. The
It's like my average
spending level.
spending.
Spending level.
The spending level.
Yeah.
That'll be in my possessions. Yeah, $2.
$2. Okay. So under weapons, you're looking to buy a hunting knife. You said.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a meat knife. Okay, so that's $2. Yeah. So a hunting knife is $2. So that won't dip into your cash value. So yeah, you're fine. You can buy a hunting knife. Easy peasy. You can add. I'll give you the stats for that after the session,
Okay.
so we can punch
cool.
it into your attacks. So you'll have that programmed in there. You'll buy that. Anything else you want to do beyond that, or are you good for now?
I'm
Good.
I'm kind of good for now.
Cool. So Neil, what do you want to do, if anything?
Yeah, it might be that time. Because part of him wants to go to the library, but I think he's exhausted everything he can really library at this point. Because you know what, come back to me, I
Okay.
guess, because I need to, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Kit. Is there anything else you want to do? Following up after the medical affairs board?
I mean, the only thing I could think of would be to assist in research.
Okay.
Other than that, nothing comes to
Cool.
mind.
So while bro, you take a moment to think of some stuff. Let's discuss with Sybil your affairs, since you wanna look into some Dr. Houston information. I mean, honestly, I would say it's redundant to ask, but we've seen twice before that it's really not.
possible for me to fail.
It is possible for you. Yeah, I'll have you make a credit rating check just for schmoozing, getting the right, like just going around, getting the right content. Yeah, you're fine. Cool. A lot of what I relayed when I was talking about Dr. Houston earlier is the same from that information still holds up. You get a couple more things. Houston was the youngest of 3 sons. His father was a Chicago MD, who, as a young man, was reported to have belonged to several deviant sects. Ooh. But this is like the really interesting thing. So Houston went on the expedition supposedly to continue Carlisle's treatment because Roger Carlyle was his patient.
Mm-hmm.
However, around the same time, and this is very hush hush, Like, this is not like this wasn't circulated anywhere, but this, like, given how high your credit rating is and regular success, I'll still give this to you. Around that time, Houston had just broken off an affair with a woman named Imelda Bosch, who had then committed suicide.
Ooh.
And that's like roughly right around the time when Houston joined the expedition.
Well. Interesting. And here he's talking about, you know, not wanting to be exposed.
Yeah, there were rumors that Carlisle did not want, but this is an extension. There were also rumors that Carlisle did not want Houston at large while he was away in Egypt. Roger was maybe loosely of the opinion that Houston's ethics were not strong enough to resist revealing explosive material about him. This is all suspiciously coincidentally lines up with around the time Houston agreed to hop on the expedition.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Okay, well, God. Well, I mean, it's something. Thank you.
Yep.
Wow, that's wild. Thanks.
Bro, have you had any thoughts on endeavors?
Check the in call, my dude.
Oh, I'm running a show. I don't look at the in call all the time.
I know. I tried to download the skims of the stuff we found in Erica's place, and all of it is Life of a God, Life as a God. I downloaded 3 times to make sure I was clicking the right link. They are all Life as a God.
I'm gonna do you a solid, and I'm just going to resend all of them to the Discord.
I mean, yeah, so Neil's like, he has enough from Life as a God to be like, well, time to just do some Egyptology, I guess. So sorry.
Duly noted.
God. Amongst the stones, are you actually amongst the stones this time?
Yes.
There you go.
God. And
there you go. This time they're all the narcotic men. I'm kidding.
Istanbul.
Yeah, damn it.
Yeah, he's pretty sure that he's not gonna find anything from the narcotic manuscripts like in the New York library. So he's most likely going to he's going to the library clearly, but it's gonna be more to look up God and Amongst the Stones was just weird, so we're gonna pretend like we didn't read that. God. Anything on Montgomery Prompton, Nivernka, etc., what was going on with that deal?
That's the Life as a God stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah, give me a minute to...
And Kit probably would have tagged along since he's not doing anything. It's more like, you do the research, I'll take notes.
Okay, you're specifically looking into stuff about Life as a God, like Crompton and all that. Okay, give me a second to double check these notes, just so I can read this.
It's like, listen, Roger Carlisle, we just found out he's got some upside down Ankh shit going on, so it makes sense to be
some upside down Ankh shit.
Some upside down Ankh shit.
Okay, I'm reading this really quickly. Cool. So you want to look into Crompton? Okay, cool. Why don't you give me a library use roll?
Let me open. Oh God, Roll20 is open, but I have so many tabs open that I cannot tell which one is Roll20. Scroll down. Boop. Skills. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. There we go. Boop.
Very nice. Okay. We're going to be doing this in phases. So this is the first thing. Yeah, okay. So you get the idea that if you were in Britain researching this guy, it would be easier, but you're also in an epicenter of knowledge like New York City, so you have a lot of sources to go from. Yeah, a Montgomery Crompton was born in Lancashire in 1774, the fourth son of a minor noble who served as a lieutenant in the 28th North Gloucestershire Regiment. I presume I said Gloucestershire. It's Gloucestershire. I've seen Hot Fuzz. Regiment, and was seriously wounded at the Battle of Alexandria. A few scattered references also mention Crompton's interest in art and his unsuccessful attempts as a painter and later a sculptor. Because you rolled an extreme success, like this thing lists like your multiple different checks. But since you rolled an extreme, I'll count those as just give you 2 extras. Before his commission in the army, Crompton was the family black sheep. First sent down from university and then bankrupted as part of a failed investment scheme. After he returned from Egypt, he was embroiled in some sort of scandal and confined to an asylum, apparently dying sometime after in 1807. Here's where you really get the idea. It's like if you really want to find like the nitty gritty of like all like court proceedings and records, you can only get that in Britain. Like that's the thing.
Neil's sitting here like, God damn it! Everything I need is at home.
And can you give me actually a luck roll?
Do. Where's Mason Allen when you need him?
Not here.
I'm in my apartment.
Hey, okay. You actually do find a copy of an archived copy of the Manchester Guardian. Here in like one of the New York venues of research you're looking into. You find a reference to him in an article in the Manchester Guardian about an 1853 fire at the Lancaster Royal Grammar School, quoted saying, the fire began in an attic area dedicated to the storage of excess equipment and other materials as of yet unused by the school in its new location. One peculiar item lost in the fire was an unfinished bronze bust of an Egyptian pharaoh by an old Lancastrian, one Lieutenant M. Crompton. A veteran of the Egyptian campaign against Napoleon, he bequeathed the bust to the school before his death in 1811. The bust, bearing an elaborate and complete headdress but lacking a finished face, was a figure of schoolboy rumor, as it was considered good luck to rub the beard before examinations. Apparently, the heat of the fire was of such a degree that the bronze bust was fully melted. Of the 2 boys killed in the fire, it would appear that they started the conflagration, no doubt accidentally, while exploring the apparently unlocked rooms. It is without doubt that negligence on the part of the school staff led to this oversight. That is all you're going to get from researching Montgomery Crompton in New York.
Okay, but now we know. Now we know.
Did you like want to also try researching like narcotic manuscripts?
Do we have time? There's no reason not to, I guess.
Well, hold on. I'm looking into that really quickly. I mean, like you wouldn't have time for like I'd say that the library skill for this one, yeah, this is taking you into the evening. If you wanted to devote a couple of hours to researching that poetry book, that would only take like an hour or 2. But it is getting like later in the evening by now. I'd say it's like pushing 8 o'clock. Actually, no, what the fuck am I talking about? You're only extreme success. Yeah, no, I'll say it's pushing like 5 o'clock. You only spent like a good like 4 hours in the library. So Neil knows how to find information.
I guess at this point, I'm gonna phone a friend. Kit, do you think it would be a good idea to look up anything about the narcotic manuscripts or that poetry book that we?
Well, narcotic manuscripts, from what you and Mason mentioned, the excerpts from the book already sort of gave a origin of Nakotas and so on and so forth. I don't know if we would be pressed to find too many useful things. As for the poetry book, I don't think, at least, what I would want to know is the inscription as to who Tyla is. We know Carlisle. We presumably know who Anastasia is, but Tyla, the person who it's from, that's the not familiar to me at first glance, I suppose.
Well, I don't think it'd be too much of a hassle to look into. It is only 5 o'clock, so.
Yeah, I mean, why not? We're here already.
Why not? We're here already. Okay. Those are the decisions.
So
Yeah.
Poetry-
just the poetry book.
Okay, cool. Gotcha. Just the poetry books. Okay. Yeah, let's have another library use roll from you.
Please, Sunil. God damn it. I figured this would be the harder thing to find just because he was like, no. God.
Do you want to push that or spend luck points or?
I don't want to spend luck points on it because I only have 66 and we got a whole ass campaign.
Okay. Do you want to push it?
Pushing it would put us in like a detriment kind of situation.
If you fail, it's a wider detriment. You just have to argue for me if you choose to push the roll, how Sunil is pushing this research.
Am I creative enough to figure out a way to push this aside?
It could literally just be that you're spending a lot more time and like really shutting yourself away in here. That's a usual default go-to library use roll. It's just like you're gonna like stay like a bit longer, maybe try to push past closing time, just like argue for like just a couple more hours to really spread your attention thin here. That's a suggestion.
I'm gonna say that Sunil is just like, he's so irritated about the fact that he hasn't found this yet that he's actually just gonna be like, he's basically holed himself into a corner. He's just like, no, I am employing all of my hyper-focus energy into this because I'm actually super irritated that it did not come as easy as I wanted it.
So you're gonna push that, so you may roll again. If you fail, the consequences will be worse.
God.
Okay. Cool. You stay well past closing time for the library. Really kind of like throw yourself into this, reading through a bunch of books. So that Justin Jeffrey, born 1898 in Monticello, New York. 1878, I believe. No, it's 1898. My bad. It's 1898. He is an avant-garde poet, generally held in scorn by polite society, charitably derided as Baudelarian. His work focused on the dark recesses of the human soul and has been condemned as obscene. His contribution to a New York Amateur Poetry Society journal, The Chanter, a poem titled White Divan of Sorrow, in 1918 resulted in a pornography charge against its publisher and its withdrawal from circulation. In 1921, while visiting various historical sites in Eastern Europe, Jeffrey apparently took ill and suffered a severe bout of madness. He returned to the U.S. and after a few readings of his new works, including poems from the volume here, disappeared from the public eye. His current whereabouts are unknown. He has no known published work aside from a few poems in disparate collections. And neither of you have connections to the Bohemian artist community, so I'm not going to give you that part. Yeah, that's where you're able to scrounge up on the author of that the poem.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
God. All right, so basically, super eccentric, super naughty, if we were to put it simply, and
At this point, Kit's like steering Signal out of the library because they've already stayed past closing. We're on it.
it's like I'm imagining Kit's just like thanking the employees, just like thank you, I'm sorry. Like Sunil's head is just like he's tapping his forehead, like okay, thank you, okay.
Truly incredible. Am I correct in assuming that everyone's just kind of like, that's what that's what we did today. Now we're done. We're going back to the hotel. Cool. Any last words for today? Speak up now, or else we'll proceed on for tomorrow.
On my way back to the plaza,
Yeah.
was I being followed?
Make a spot hidden check.
Same, actually.
Actually, no. I wouldn't mind making that. We're all traveling disparately at this point, so.
Mason and I have never been followed.
Oh no.
A couple luck points.
Fuck this shit, dude. No, fuck this shit. I'm sick of this shit.
Thank
this
you,
is bullshit. That is fucking stupid.
Thank you, Kit, for keeping the families.
Yeah, but Sunil, you're the only one walking with me.
Yeah, thank you, Kit, for keeping the guy who's not gonna do a spot hidden check because he's too dead right now.
I do use like 3 luck points to make that a success.
That is Jordan. That is RNGesus looking at you and saying, "That's for not rolling me last session. I thought you would call." Like,
Jesus can eat my fucking ass right now, dude.
I'm so thoroughly.
Well, that's what he wanted to do, but you didn't
that's
call him.
why you were supposed to call.
Fuck him. He's getting
That was the points.
all the shit that he did to me in Perdition. No, fuck this dude, man. Fuck
Okay.
him.
Jordan, you rolled a
He
100.
tried to kill you, but he kept you alive.
Now I will say,
I rolled a fucking 100.
yes.
How many 100s am I gonna roll this fucking campaign, dude?
statistically, at least a few more.
It's a 1 out of 100 chance.
Yeah, so statistically, once every 100 checks. Okay, so here's what I'll say, by the way. To everyone who failed, as always, you're welcome to push rolls. For even you, Mason, even though you got a critical failure there, you're welcome to push rolls. Like, pushing a spot hidden roll can be like taking more time to observe the area, you know? Fucking not just being like looking over my shoulder, just being like, I look down, I see an alleyway, I'm looking down the fucking alleyway, I'm going down the fucking alleyway, I'm looking around like, who's following me, you know? So if people want to push it, you can. So if you want to try again, just tell me how you're pushing it, and we can go from there.
I mean, I'm not too. I mean, Sybil probably, went back to the plaza and made some phone calls, so she's probably a little.
Isn't Sybil with Kit?
No, like she went
she
to
split
go,
off afterwards.
Went to go do some socialiting.
Yeah.
Right, I forgot.
So she probably went back to the plaza and spent her day on the phone.
So Jordan, do you want to re-roll given that you just got backhanded by RNGesus? I'm offering you a chance at a redemption.
I know, I do. I just don't know what to do.
Sure. You can literally just take my suggestion that Mason is just scanning the area more fervently. Like,
yeah, Mason is just.
You can make some weird turns to see if someone starts making weird turns with you, like that sort of
Yeah.
shit. I don't know.
Like Mason going from the shop back to the plaza takes a very, very, very slow way, a complicated way, a way that if someone were to be following him, it would be obvious. He goes down blocks. He takes like 3 circles on one block.
Okay.
He goes across the street, back across the other side of the fucking street. He goes back in that circle 2 more times, and he makes his way back to the plaza. Did anyone follow me? Can I push this roll?
you may push this roll.
RNGesus is taking your offering.
And no one is following you.
Wait, is that a hard success?
He said you're fucking following me.
Kit, you keep an eye out as you're walking around and just like, yeah, I mean, no, you're good. You're good. You're walking back with Sunil. Mason, you're definitely being followed. You have a tail on you.
What he look like?
What they look like.
Oh, shit.
What about me? Because I use them luck points.
Oh, with a regular success, no one's following you.
I don't trust that now.
Give me 1 second. I'm looking something up for you. Mason, what's your armor class? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fuck.
Man, are you glad you pushed that roll? Oh man, hold on. I'm just reading up my notes again.
What they look like, motherfucker? What do they look like?
What does who look like?
What do they look like?
I'm
What is he Twig's gonna die.
Yeah, there's a group of like two men. Both of them, African American men. They're not like tracking you down. Like they're not like approaching you. This is a tail. You are being watched from afar by these two guys who are definitely tailing you and are just watching where you go.
They're waiting for me to go to Harlem, those motherfuckers. They're waiting for me to go to Harlem. This is it. This is it. This is now or never. This is now or never. So now we have reached the crossroads that I have been dreading this entire time. In the off chance that I ever got a success in a spot hidden check and found that I was being followed, now there's the next part. What the fuck do I do?
You can
Walk home.
you can try to lose them. You can try to walk home and act natural. You could make sure that you're basically walking in like public places. Since they're not approaching, you're probably okay, but if they were approaching, I mean, personally, I would try and find like a public place that is open and like detour into theirs, their witnesses and shit. But that's just me. That's just me talking. Like I'm not over here like telling you what to do. Sorry.
No, you're good. Thank you.
All very valid.
Kid Sullivan whispering sensible suggestions in your ear from the
ASMR. Sorry.
I'm just saying, like, they probably already know where we at, so ain't
Also,
no harm in just heading home.
I'll just be extra mean to you, Jordan, for a second.
Don't do it.
I'll add this because I'll add this detail for you. You're now fairly certain that these guys have been following you since you left the plaza this morning.
No harm in just heading home.
So they're tailing me. They're not like coming up on me or anything.
Nope,
they're just watching me.
Just watching you.
And we're not in Harlem.
No, you're not in Harlem. I mean, that's up to you. Where do you think Mason would be at this time of day? Where on his way back, like wherever he was?
I didn't think Mason went to Harlem.
No,
No,
he
he-
just went to.
That's what I said. He's not. You're not in
No,
Harlem.
we're not. No.
Just
I went to my apartment and then I went and bought a knife and
Yeah.
I'm heading home.
yeah. So you're
Or
probably
back
somewhere.
to the plaza.
Probably by now, you're probably around somewhere like in Midtown, maybe. Like you're in Manhattan. You're not anywhere near Harlem, and you haven't been in Harlem today, because we established
Are the
that
cops nearby?
Mason lived in Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this apartment was in Brooklyn. Yeah. Yeah, these guys have been following you since you left the hotel this morning. Cops nearby? Yeah, I mean, there's beat cops, in around.
Okay. This might be a dangerous move that I'm about to do. Like,
Yeah.
I want to discuss this with the players before I do something, because whenever
Okay.
it's just me making a decision, typically it doesn't come with the best outcome.
You have
So-
called the council. We are assembled.
The council is
I'm
here.
calling the council. Now I can
Why have
alert
you
the police
assembled the
that I'm.
council today?
Yeah, hello, good council. It is me, Mason Allen. Today I bring forth a subject that I'm being fucking followed. Now, I could talk to the police and be like, there are people following me. I am in danger of my life. I feel like my life is in danger of these people following me. And get the police on their ass because these cops are not from the same precinct. As far as we know, other cops from other areas are not on the payroll. Like if they're doing shit outside of Harlem, maybe other cops could handle.
I'm gonna say this is Kit because I feel like this is something Kit would say, but Kit approaches the stand and says, unless something is actively happening and you have proof, do you really think they're gonna give a shit?
No, you're right. That's a bad idea.
This
Now,
has
another
been
option-
your inner conscience, Kit.
Inner conscience Kit. Now the other option would be I shout something very terrifying with this general public around, like bomb or something that they're holding because the other war has ended and people are afraid of another one starting. And using the people's public fear of the war against these people that are now following me. But that would be a lie, and lies are bad.
I approach the stand as James O'Connell.
Sunil bows and lets James go.
Pause. Before you say anything, I need to say this. I am convinced this is Mason having this scene in his own head, imagining what would my friends say to me? What would my friends say to me? What would they say to me right now?
So like, you should call for a bomb. You should actually maybe you should fight with them.
So James O'Connell, you approach the stand.
I approach the stand as James O'Connell. I grab the microphone in hand. Don't. Whatever the fuck you do, don't do that. Just go home.
Mason is having this internal dialogue externally on his way home, just like silent mumblings to himself. He's walking home. He's like, I don't know what to do, kid. What should I do? You should just go home. Yeah, dude, seriously, just go home. What, Sybil, what do you think? I think you should fight them. No, that's a terrible idea. Really is a terrible idea. That's a stupid fucking idea, Mason. You really shouldn't do that. And whatever you do, don't yell bomb.
Oh yeah,
Don't yell bomb.
Mason.
Hmm?
The entire walk home while you're doing this, they're still following you.
Brain James gestures for Sunil to take the floor.
Brain O'Connell.
Brain O'Connell pretty much already covered everything that I could cover. Just go home. They already know who we are. We can talk
You're right,
about it.
Sunil Pen Brain. You're right. You're so right.
Brain Van.
I mean, you have a knife on you.
Sunil Pen Brain.
Brain Kit puts a comforting arm around Brain Sybil's shoulder and then turns around and leads her out of the fucking courtroom.
What? Get out of my head, Sybil Braindova! Get out of my head!
What the? What,
You bought a knife.
what the fuck is this? Psychonauts?
Kids celebrating, you're right. I'm going home. And he's gone. He speed walks back home.
Yep.
His feet.
Yep. Tailed the
speed
entire way
walking
back.
Speed walking in the way where like both of his feet remain on the ground at all times. So it's like no foot just gets up into like a jog or anything, but he's just speed walking. He's speed walking as fast as he can. Like he's going home. He's going to the plaza.
And so are these two guys following you. So you get back to the plaza.
They follow him into the plaza.
Not that he sees. I mean, like they don't follow him into the lobby. I think if you take a gander at the guys who are like tailing you, definitely see them like across the street, like watching the hotel's front doors that you walked in through. But like, yeah, beyond they're not like actively entering the hotel from what you can see. I need to stress that these are not people wearing cop uniforms. These are just two black men wearing regular, everyday, average American clothes who have just been following you since you left the hotel this morning.
I'm sorry, I was about to make a very controversial statement, and I'm gonna shut up now.
This isn't Mason's fear of that.
No, I know, but I can't help me and have the thought of, I mean, it is a blonde white twink walking very quickly with him tailing. I'm sorry.
Meanwhile, these two guys who've been following me, they're just like, you think this guy's? It's weird. He's been going the same way we've been going all day.
After circling the block 3 times, going across the street, going back across that same street, circling the block again before going back to the plaza.
Meanwhile, one of the guys back at the group says, I guess twinks need cardio too. Anyway.
I'm like dead ass imagining like the whole time they're following him, they're just like, oh no, wait, we should actually go visit this place over here. Oh, I guess the twinks also going this way. Weird.
An interesting.
They finally stop at the plaza, and the whole reason they stopped at the door of the plaza was just like, oh, I figured him for a rich guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and they walk off. Yeah. Anyway.
This is a very serious, tense horror game, which is very scary.
Very serious, tense game. It's fine. I got a jump scare earlier, and by the sudden knock, I'm happy with that.
I just want to mention how happy I am that we can all just kind of insert ourselves into Mason's brain.
Mason's mindscape, dude. He needs the help that he can get right now, even if it is imaginative. To Mason, it's not him thinking of these ideas. It's Kit Sullabrain and Brain O'Connell and Sybil Braindova and Senil Pan Brain thinking up these ideas for him.
I'm really just imagining like some Phoenix Wright looking fucking shit going on.
Like imagine in his
Sybil's
mind
like,
space.
objection.
In his mind space, there's only a gray circle of light that just sits. That's where he stands there, and surrounding him are his 4 compatriots, all on really, really, really tall, like little stands where they stare down at little Mason Allen, who needs all the help that he can get right now because he's being followed back. For the first fucking time, he's being followed, and he needs help.
Sybil, stab them!
I just can't get over a Jackson
Brain
Elias.
O'Connell to Mason, just relax.
I can't get over the image of Jackson Brain Elias looking at you and just going, I'm sorry, Mason, you are the weakest link, and then dropping you down a hole. Anyway.
I don't have to hide my memory card.
Anyway.
That's Mason's nightmare.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, he makes it to the plaza. He makes sure that he's not being followed deeper into the plaza, and then he tries to find his friends.
Cool. Everyone eventually reconvened to the plaza much later that night as Senil gets back with Kit from the library. Same with Sybil and same with James. Are you guys all reconvening to discuss the day back at the Cordova suite? Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What's up, sluts? I was in the library for a very long time.
Senil Panday did not just say, what's up, sluts?
What's up, sluts? I just hired a bunch of mercenaries.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Were any of them hot?
Yes.
Yay!
Mason finds all of you first. This boy is in tears.
Oh,
He is a crying mess in tears, knowing that he's no longer being followed in the plaza, which is a mix of relief, but you can see him jittering from across the fucking room. Like he is. Mason Allen is afraid.
Sybil immediately goes over, like, pulls out her handkerchief, so it's like, kind of dabbing. Are you okay? What's wrong? Oh my god! Don't cry!
We're being followed.
What?
There are people outside the plaza. We're being followed.
Oh!
That confirms that.
Can't say that
Are
that's
you okay?
Did they do anything? Did they hurt you?
No. They've been keeping their distance, but we're being followed. We've been followed since the beginning of this fucking morning. I realize it's the same 2 fucking people. They've been watching us all day.
Shh. They didn't hurt you, right?
No.
Okay.
No. They didn't say anything. They just been staring. They've been watching.
Okay. Well, I mean, we had police officers entering our room, so it's not like they could get much more intrusive, right? Shh, it's okay. Would you like a glass of water?
What if they get one of you? What if they get one of you like they got Jackson?
Relax. They're not gonna get any of us.
You don't fucking know that. We didn't know what was gonna happen to Jackson. The fucking reason these people are goddamn crazy.
Mason. Relax.
Breathe.
They're not gonna get any of us. Okay?
Count to 5. Take a breath. Mason, your room is right by my room and right by Sunil's room. So you're not alone. We're right down the hall from you, okay? You have locks on
Mason's
your doors.
face is Mason's face is getting really red. He's starting to heave. Kit, you get the feeling that he's starting to go into a full panic attack.
That's
Kids-
not a thing yet.
Kit's a...
Oh well,
Actually, you know what?
Oh, yeah,
Kit's
no, I guess
dealt
that's
with
not
this
a thing.
shit. Kit has absolutely dealt with this shit.
yeah.
What? It was so...
I was kind of thinking similar to like how
Like kind of like shell
in
shock.
the beginning of Path of Perdition, you had that moment where you were starting to panic in the train. A lot of what was happening is very similar
Yeah.
to what you are seeing in Mason's face.
No,
right
yeah,
now.
no. Kit's dealt with that, and what he's gonna do, he's gonna approach Mason, and he's gonna just slowly and gently. So, like, if he doesn't want to be touched, he can pull away, but just firmly put his hands on Mason's shoulders and look him in the eyes and just focus. We're gonna take some breaths together, all right?
Okay.
Just follow me. Just in, out, in, out. Just
Okay.
keep
Okay.
breathing.
Okay.
We're here. You're here.
Okay.
Okay. All right. It's okay, Mason. Kid's just gonna hug him.
Aww.
She's just gonna hug him. She's just gonna hold him. So breathe. Breathe. Breathe, Mason. Right here, right now, all okay. Right here, right now, we're all okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Kid's gonna sort of like flash a look to everyone else and sort of Mason. If you can stay in my room tonight if you think that would help you feel safer.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you don't want to, that's fine, but you know where my room is. Just knock on the door
Mm-hmm.
anytime.
Okay.
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 Just sort of
Sorry. I'm sorry.
gives his shoulder a squeeze. Yeah, you're fine.
It's okay.
The phone begins ringing in the room.
Everyone jumps.
James calmly gets up, goes over.
It's like going on midnight, yeah. You pick up the phone. You hear the concierge on the other voice going, "So terribly sorry." Wow, I said so terribly sorry. I'm so wow. Fuck that. I'm gonna restart over.
Good job.
Yeah.
Shit didn't happen.
So terribly sorry to bother you at this time of night. There's a phone call for a Miss Cordova. Would you like to take it?
Sure.
What? Does James just like hand her the phone?
No, he's just like once.
You hear like the sound of the line being switched over. And you kind of like you hear a voice on your side going, "Hello,
Hello?
is this Miss Cordova?"
This is her husband. How can I help you?
All right. Well, I'm placing a courtesy call. I'm not gonna give you my name, but you're the ones, or I should say, your wife is the one who's helping Millie Adams, yes?
That would be correct. That's all of us.
Then consider me a friendly. Consider this a friendly tip. You have been looking into Juju House. I know, we won't go into it beyond this. There's a number of people going into this shop right now. I saw a bunch of them go in. This was a courtesy call. You didn't hear this from me. I'm not going to give you my name. I was just told that if I saw anything, I should tell you. And you hear the line click on the other end.
Okay.
What was it?
And James just slowly puts it down. Click. Apparently there's something happening at Juju House. And we have an informant.
Well, if something's happening at Juju House, then it sounds like that's where we should be.
Our informant was told if anything happening to let us know. Who's up for a trip to Harlem?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
James just scans everybody else. Mason's clearly not doing well.
When you look at Mason, you see a lot of fear in his face, but you also see a lot of anger. There's something about him that when you look at him, you kind of get the feeling that you recognize that this is the look of a person who is in fact ready to kill someone in the case that something happens. Like that is an anger that you easily recognize.
Mm-hmm. Eyes dart to Kit.
Kit is looking at Sunil.
Sunil, he looks back at Kit and he's just like, well, time waits for no man, I guess.
Kit just gives a curt nod then.
All right. Well, what do you say? Same car, different cars?
Might be worth it to hire different cars if it's possible to get out of this place undetected. Then that would be a good idea.
I assume it's too late to get our friends to help.
Probably.
Fuck.
I mean, it's worth a call to see if they could at least show up there should things go south.
Did I get any numbers?
For
Our hired
mercs?
guns.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't get numbers directly, but you can always try and reach out to Carlton at this late hour.
Sounds like we need to get moving now. I don't know if it's worth the...
Probably not going to happen yet.
No.
Carlton's probably asleep. I doubt I'm going to get a number. Not in time, at least. Unless someone wants to stay here, call Carlton. Tell him to have one of our people meet us there.
I think it's unlikely to happen.
I'll go get my things.
Let's get our stuff.
We'll just keep this simple. Mostly reconnaissance. We're just gonna see what happens. We've been called. For all we know, we could be walking straight into a trap, so we're gonna be very fucking cautious.
Yeah.
Alright? Alright.
No
Get your shit
unnecessary.
together, everyone get locked and loaded.
Okay. Okay.
Instead of laying down for rest, as all of you had planned, instead the lot of you grabs your supplies and set out to go check out what's going on over at Juju House. And that is where we will end this week's episode, Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. As always, thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you to my lovely cast for participating. And we will be here, same time, same place, next Friday, for the next, and hopefully not last, episode of Call of Cthulhu, Masks of Nyarlathotep. Until next time, Cthulhu Fatagan.